Hi guys, ugly little Bentley there with his watch symbol, pocket watch asking when. I think in terms of, hey, when are you guys gonna complete this choice board stuff? So wanted to make a short video here to go over how to complete your third activity. Remember, you're going to choose one of these, and our third activity really doesn't matter which one you choose, whether you're going to plot volcanoes or excuse me, you're going to plot earthquakes. You should have at this point, obviously, have completed our first exploratory assignment, the Earth Click and Find with a Reflection. That was a long time ago. As of last Friday, over the weekend, you should have completed our two choice activities, the Gizmo Goody, foam block modeling, etc., and submitted those. I'll begin looking at those. But to wrap up, remember our investigation, we're after this crazy guy and his theory to see, is the Earth's crust really broken into moving plates? You're going to choose one of these two activities. So just wanted to take us a few minutes to show you how to do this. It doesn't matter which one you do, whether you're plotting volcanoes or earthquakes. The process is the same. How you turn it in, etc., is all going to be the same. So with that, I'm going to just choose volcanoes. They both scare me a little bit, but I'm going to, just because it's on the top and it's first, I'm going to choose volcanoes. So given coordinates, what we're going to do, you're going to have some data from real volcanoes around the world, all over the world. You're going to plot them on a map and then answer a few reflection questions. Again, so what we are going to be after is see if we can match up, use volcanoes or earthquakes to go back and look for more evidence about whether or not this is true. Is the Earth's surface broken up into plates? So I'm going to begin by going ahead and recording this, opening up this document here. And when I do, it's going to ask me to make a copy so I can have my own copy. We've done that before. It's pretty easy. So this really, what this is just an instruction sheet. You can see a bunch of other links here. So I'm going to pretend I'm a student and show you how to get down to business. I can see my directions here and my three little reflection questions to answer at the end. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to be plotting volcanoes. Again, this could be the same thing for earthquakes here. So I'm going to pick one data set. And now what these data sets are coordinates, like on a graph. We're all taking math, plotting points, using something called latitude and longitude. I'll show you what that is in a second. But I'm going to choose here, if I open up this data set, I'm only plotting one group. And I want to be clear about that. You're not plotting all these. That will take you forever. So you're just going to pick one set. Doesn't really matter which one. Since my favorite number's 2, I'm going to go ahead and pick group 2. So I'm going to open that up. Now yours will have to open in Google Slides, Google Sheets if you're on a Chromebook. Here you can see it's in Excel. I'm on a desktop. But I'm going to open that up and you'll see this, like, wow, it has team member. We don't need to worry about that. It's got bonus. We don't really need to worry about that. But there is this series of volcanoes here. Each of these is a different volcano. You can see the names. They've got some crazy names too. Fuego for fire. So all around the world in different spots, it tells you what type of volcano they are. We don't really need to worry too much about that. And then the last known eruption. Some of them you can see haven't erupted for hundreds and hundreds of years. Some of them are obviously much more recent. So right here are the coordinates, and these are like X and Y on, excuse me, a math graph. So what I would do, I just want to take a second and remind you guys of what latitude and longitude is. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize these. And if I go back to my volcano copy, if you do not know, cannot remember latitude and longitude, there's a little primer, a little review guide here that I'm not going to go into too crazily, but essentially what we can think of is that latitude, you can see our map of the Earth. It's like someone divided the Earth, or our planet. Here's our equator right here. That's known as our 0 degrees. And these lines above the equator in this case, they could be counting by 10s, counting by 15s, but this is going to be north of the equator. This is going to be south of the equator. So that's latitude, almost like it gets confusing, like a ladder going up and down the rungs. Longitude, like long lines, that's like someone starts at the North Pole or the South Pole and divides the Earth in half this way. So here is our 0 degrees. Any lines over to this side, we're going to be traveling west. Any lines over here, any position will be in the eastern hemisphere. So really all we do with this is it's like somebody plopped as we can see here, like a grid or a graph over the Earth. And we can refer to any point on the Earth's surface using these coordinates. So I'm just going to roughly say this point that's pretty close to us right here is, you can see, to get to that, if I start at 0, I would have to go 15, 30, about 45 degrees north. So I'd be 45 degrees north. And if I start at my 0 degree longitude, I would be 15, I'm going to 30, 45, excuse me, 60, 75. This looks like about 75 degrees west. So my coordinates in this case I would refer to that point. I would say, hey, go 45 north and 75 west. And where those lines intersect, that's my point. All right, so what you are going to do with this is that you're going to be given a map here on FOSSWeb that we'll have to open up with Cami. And I'm going to go ahead and open mine with Cami too. And you can see all that it is, pretty simple. It's a map of the Earth, kind of nice. And the best part is that someone has already overlaid a grid on this for us. So this one is crooked. So I'm going to go ahead over to my menu button over here, and I'm going to rotate this puppy clockwise so I can look at it like a normal Earth, normal planet. And then what I would do is I can go over to this drawing tool, and I'm going to plot my points. So let's just say really, really quickly here that I have something that is 45 degrees north and 75, let's say 70. Actually, we already did that one. Let's say 30 degrees south and 60 degrees west. So those are my coordinates that I'm going to try and plot here. So what I would do, and I'm making up this point as an example, I'm going to go to my drawing tool, and I'm going to select a thickness of about a 4, and I'm going to pick a red dot. So I want to go 30 degrees south. So if I'd start at my equator, and south means I want to go down. So 10, 20, 30 degrees. I'm right at this point along this line, 30 degrees, and 60 degrees. I'm just going to put a little mark there for that one to remind me. And 60 degrees west, as we can see. So here's my 0 degree longitude line, my prime meridian, and I'm going to go 60 degrees west. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Here's my 60 degree line. So my point that I'm plotting has to be 30 degrees south along this line and 60 degrees west. So that's right here. I'm going to click that spot, and you can see I have just plotted my first point. So if that's an earthquake or a volcano, whatever that might be, there's my first point. And then all I've got to do, I'm going to go back to my data set, and I'm going to get a new one, whatever that might be. Let's say 8.8 north, 82.5 west. I'll just simply go back to my map and find those coordinates. I'll have to estimate them about where they are and put another plot on the map and a point on the map and a point on the map. So eventually I'm going to end up with these red points. They would be signifying, as we said, earthquakes or volcanoes. Now, once I plot all of my points and I get them all on there, and remember, I'm only actually plotting for one group. We can see group 2. So I'm going to plot just these. That's all I've got to do for that group. And then I'd be done. Once I do that, I have my Cami there. It's easy enough. I have that saved in my files. I'm just going to use that map to respond to these 3 questions. And eventually, I'm going to turn that in for credit. All right. So with that, again, you're choosing either our volcanoes or earthquakes. The process is the same. And I'm going to ask you to begin plotting points, and we'll see where we're at. Good luck. Remember, we're after don't forget about this crazy guy trying to gather, this is our last activity, trying to see, is his idea legitimate? Is the Earth's crust really broken into moving plates? And if so, where's the evidence for that? Good luck, guys.